JBN will keep you informed. I'm Michelle Jones. Before we get into the news, please remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share the news with someone today. Now on to the news. Triple killing breaks murder-free streak in St. James. Police are on the hunt for two suspects. One of whom reportedly engaged the cops in a shootout when they responded to the scene of a triple murder on King Street in Montego Bay, St. James, on Tuesday. Two guns were reportedly seized following the melee. The suspects have been identified as John Roach and Kashim Lewis. Roach is also a person of interest in a previous shooting incident. They are wanted in connection with the killing of 26-year-old Rashawn Antonio Williams, 17-year-old student Jadon Verrell Bennett, and 62-year-old fisherman David West, all of King Street addresses in the parish. During an investigation of the scene, Williams was found on the main road with gunshot wounds to the left side of his face and upper body. During an investigation of the scene, Williams was found on the main road with gunshot wounds to the left side of his face and upper body, while Bennett was found on a bridge with gunshot wounds to the right side of his neck. West had gunshot wounds to the right side of his face and was found in his yard. The victims were taken to the hospital where they were pronounced dead. According to commander of the St. James Police Division, Superintendent Aaron Samuels, lawmen received reports of a shooting in the Upper King Street area around 5 p.m. The police responded immediately, but a shootout with Roach ensued when they got to the scene. The suspect escaped in a gully, leaving behind two weapons, SSP Samuel said.
On Tuesday, July 9, 2024, the police seized two weapons following a triple murder that occurred in the Upper King Street area. About 6 p.m., police received reports of a shooting in the area and immediately we responded. On arrival of the scene, within minutes, a shootout ensued with the suspect. The suspect escaped in a gully, leaving behind two weapons. The suspect is 32-year-old John Lee Roach. He's previously a person of interest in a case of shooting with intent. Operations are still ongoing to capture John Lee Roach. The team is currently within the space and will continue pursuing him until he is found. We will be conducting a search of the gully between tonight and tomorrow morning, as we believe he had dived into the gully. We are not sure if at this time if he was shot and injured or if he received any injuries following him jumping several feet down into the gully. We will continue to relentlessly pursue John Lee Roach and any associate of his to ensure that we bring back safety and security to the Canterbury community and wider St. James.
St. James has seen a lull in violent crimes in recent months. However, with 60 murders since the start of the year, St. James is currently the nation's most murderous parish. Senior citizen perishes in Mandeville house fire. An elderly man perished in a house fire in Mandeville, Manchester on Tuesday afternoon. He has been identified as Ronald West, 74, a resident of Balvenie Heights in Mandeville. Head of the Manchester Fire Department, Superintendent Ron Powell, said firefighters responded to a structural fire shortly after midday. At approximately 12:19 p.m., we received a call for structural fire. We responded with 3 units. Upon arrival, we saw a house fully engulfed. We got into operation, knocked the fire down, and brought it under control. During our cooling down operations, we discovered what appeared to be the remains of a human inside the dwelling, said Powell. At this time, we're still carrying out investigations, trying to determine the cause of the fire, he added. Meanwhile, over in Queensland, Albertown, Trelawney, a house was destroyed by a fire on Wednesday morning. The owner, 46-year-old Janice Linton, said she received the distressing news while on her way to Kingston with her 16-year-old daughter. Me don't know what to say. My daughter just get this swelling on her neck, and as the result of her test me I go for. I know this is bad news. Me don't know what to say, the distraught single mother of two said. A neighbor said that around 6:30 a.m., residents saw the house on fire and called the Christiana Fire Station. By the time they reached, the house was completely destroyed, the woman said. Motorists escaped serious injury after collision with fallen utility pole. A man narrowly escaped serious injuries after the vehicle he was driving came in contact with a downed utility pole in New Forest, South Manchester, on Tuesday night. Reports suggest that around 11 p.m., the man was driving a Toyota Axie motor car on the Alligator Pond Main Road when the incident happened. Counsel for the Alligator Pond Division, Omar Robinson, is urging the Jamaica Public Service Company, JPSCO, to remove downed utility poles in the area. I got a report that a silver axle was written off in one of the fallen JPS poles that I've reported on numerous occasions since the passage of Hurricane Beryl. I pleaded and I begged JPS to clear the road. Last night it was a near miss of a young man from Comapen. Luckily, he escaped injuries, but the car has been totaled. I hope that nothing else happens in the area, Robinson said. I still haven't seen any presence of JPS in the Alligator Pond division. If it is even to get the poles out of the way. One pole is a little away from the New Forest School. It can fall at any time. People keep using the thoroughfare to get to their homes and business places. So JPS, I call again. Please come and clear the road. We know that we might not have electricity anytime soon, but at least clear the main road to Alligator Pond, he added. JDF team to assist with rebuilding houses in areas hard hit by Beryl. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has instructed Chief of Defense Staff Vice Admiral Anthony Gorman to mobilize the disaster assistance and recovery DART team of the Jamaica Defense Force JDF to spearhead the effort to rebuild houses in some of the areas hardest hit by Hurricane Beryl. The DART will be assisted by other supporting units, including the Engineering Corps. They'll target areas such as Portland Cottage and Rocky Point in Clarendon and Jamaica's south coast, where the damage from the hurricane was greatest, wiping out the entire housing stock in some communities.
Madam Speaker, while we undertake the rapid assessment and craft a broader support program, we recognize that there are certain communities where virtually the entire housing stock has been destroyed. I have instructed the Chief of Defense Staff to mobilize the Disaster Assistance and Recovery Team, the DART team, and other supporting units, including the engineers, to cover areas such as Rocky Point, Portland Cottage, on the south coast of Jamaica, where the damage is greatest, to assist with the rebuilding and recovery. They will also be deployed in Hanover to assist with the recovery in Hanover, particularly in the town of Negril and other areas coming around to Westmoreland. The deployment in southeast Clarendon will also spill over into areas of Manchester and St. Elizabeth. So they will be deployed, southwest Clarendon. So they will be deployed. In other words, they will be deployed in the space, but they will, from the space, move to other areas to assist. Their role, the initiative aims not just to rebuild, but to rebuild stronger and more resilient homes that can withstand future storms. Madam Speaker, our efforts will focus on durability and sustainability. We do not want to merely put up makeshift structures or patch up roofs in a way that leaves them vulnerable to the next storm. But more than that, Madam Speaker, in some of these areas that have been terribly affected, the longer they stay without intervention, it is the greater the potential for a break in public order. And therefore, we have to plan for that and therefore pre-deploy and pre-position resources to ensure that there is no break in public order.
Portmore gas station supervisor charged with fraud freed after paying back the money. A former supervisor at a gas station in Portmore, St. Catherine, who was charged with the theft of over $1 million in a phone card scam, walked free from the St. Catherine Parish Court on Tuesday after paying back the money. The charges of larceny as a servant and unauthorized access to computer to facilitate the commission of an offense were dismissed against Chevrolet Osborne after the complainant told the court that he did not wish to pursue the matter against him any further since the stolen money was repaid. Osborne was freed by a senior parish court judge, Desiree Lane. He and other workers at the gas station were charged for pocketing money from the sale of phone credit. While the case against Osborne has been dismissed, his co-accused Tyreek Austin and Maurice Morant are scheduled to reappear in court on September 13 when their matters will again be mentioned. Morant is accused of defrauding $890,000, while Austin is accused of stealing $920,000. Allegations are that on January 24, The complainant conducted a surprise verification of his gas station in Independence City, Portmore, and that during the checks, a multi-billion-dollar phone credit fraud was discovered. The police were contacted and investigation led to the former employees being charged with fraud. It's been alleged that they gained unauthorized access to a phone card machine and sold call credit. They reportedly spent the proceeds. A fourth accused, Corey Carter, was previously freed after making restitution. Hurricane damage could disrupt reopening of schools, JTA warns. The Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA, is warning that there could be major disruptions to the opening of the new school year in September due to the damage caused by Hurricane Beryl to schools across the country. The Ministry of Education has reported that an early assessment revealed that the damage to schools was in the region of nearly $1 billion. Speaking in an interview, JTA President Lytton Johnson recommended that the ministry establish a special fund to deal with natural disasters such as hurricanes, earthquakes, and floods, as well as fires that may damage or destroy school infrastructure.
The damages done to several schools were extensive and will require significant amounts of money to effect repairs. We are urging the Ministry of Education to expedite the process of assessing the damage done to these institutions to ascertain the true cost of repairs. The summer holidays presents a very small window for these repairs to be effected. Once again, we are making the call for the Ministry of Education to establish an emergency fund to be activated when schools are faced with eventualities such as hurricanes, earthquakes, flooding, and fires. It is also necessary for the Ministry of Education to now consider the process of insuring our schools against these eventualities. This will improve the sector's resilience in the face of these natural disasters. We're encouraging the Ministry of Education to revisit the process of service level contracts where schools are funded to carry out minor works and projects that fall below the stipulated limited procurement threshold. Allowing these schools to contract these minor projects will guarantee a speedier recovery time in getting the schools that were impacted ready or as close to being ready for September. It is important for immediate and urgent attention to be placed on the primary and infant schools that were damaged. These schools receive minimal amounts of monies from the Ministry of Education each year for maintenance purposes. We know that these administrators will undergo immense pressure to have the necessary repairs effected in time.
JBN will keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.